right, everyone, welcome back to BJ's Fantasy Corner. It's been another exciting week in the NFL. We're finally into the playoffs, and guess what? The Los Angeles Rams saved our butts as Chicago Bears fans because we crapped the bed against the Green Bay Packers. If it wasn't for, let me see my notes here, John Wofford? I don't know who that guy is. He's an AAF quarterback. He came into the NFL. He's somehow Jared Goff's backup, but the Rams won. The Cardinals get knocked out of the playoffs, and the Bears are going in at an 8-8 team against the New Orleans Saints. Got my Saints gear on here. Still a Bears fan, but I don't think they stand a chance. But let's talk about the game against the Bears against the Packers. Let's wrap that up real quick. It doesn't seem like Aaron Rodgers is going to be stopped. Again, this has been a common theme. He ended at the end of the season with 48 touchdowns and 5 interceptions. So if anyone thinks he isn't the MVP, they're crazy. Jimmy, what do you think about Aaron Rodgers' chances of the MVP and the Packers' chance of actually going to the Super Bowl?
I mean, he's a bum. He didn't even hit 50 touchdowns. So, I mean, so you got to dock him for that. Yeah, I mean, I think he is pretty much a runaway MVP, and I mean runaway. I think there's talks of Josh Allen or Patrick Mahomes or Derrick Henry maybe even sneaking up there. I mean, yeah, it's good, but what he's doing and then the team being so good, it's one thing if you putting up numbers and, you're Jameis Winston and you're garbage, but they're winning and they're blowing people out. I mean, I know what we said last week, they're our Super Bowl pick, at least to go and lose, hopefully. Yeah, I don't see anybody from the NFC stopping them.
No, not for the MVP award. And even Patrick Mahomes, like I know everyone thinks he is great. Don't get me wrong. Patrick Mahomes is a great quarterback. I'm not going to take anything away from him, but he did not have the year that Aaron Rodgers had, and not very many quarterbacks do. I mean, this is, I think, the third or fourth time Aaron Rodgers has thrown 40 touchdowns and less than 10 picks. So it's pretty crazy. Let's move on to another game that determined who's going to go to the playoffs. The Washington football team, they won against the Eagles in not so spectacular fashion, considering the Eagles pretty much decided they're going to do a tank job at the end of the season instead of the beginning of the season. So what did you think of Doug Peterson putting in Sudfeld in the fourth quarter when they were only down by a touchdown? It didn't make any sense to me at all.
Die Eagles die. I mean, I know they said before the game that they wanted to get him some time. I don't know why. I mean, he's been it's not like he's a rookie with like Hurts. You've had Sudfeld for a couple of years now, so you know what you have in him. And then, like you said, the idea I think was, okay, if we're down 2-3 scores late, throw him out there. No, you were right in the middle of it. Like you said, you were down a touchdown, and it's not like Jalen Hurts was hurt. He had 2 rushing touchdowns. So I know he was somewhat limited through the air, but he still had value on the ground. And we talk about tanking every year, but I don't know if it's ever been as blatant as that benching your starting quarterback. And then if I was a Giants fan or Giants player, I would be so pissed right now. I mean, granted, you're 6-10, so pump the brakes a little bit, but I mean, that's one thing they always tell you when you play football. Like, no matter what, just give it your all. And they didn't.
Well, and it's tough to give it your all when your coach gives up on you like that. And when I wasn't even really watching the game because, again, it's the Washington football team, the Philadelphia Eagles, barf. I saw it all of a sudden. I'm like, why is Sudfeld? And I'm thinking, oh my gosh, did Jalen Hurts get hurt? And they decided not to even put Wentz in. And then to find out that it was just like a last minute, oh, I'm just going to throw him in because we need some, he needs some playing time. No, that's what practice is for. That's what the practice squad is for. You don't do it in the fourth quarter of an important game for other teams. I mean, granted, you didn't stand a chance to win the East, but still. So to me, the tank job was inappropriately done, I guess you would say. It wasn't done at the right moment, I guess. I mean, if you're going to tank, you either start like the Jacksonville Jaguars and tank early, tank often, or don't do it at all and try to win. So, yeah, it's just kind of a bad look and a bad taste, I think, for the NFL and the Eagles right now and Doug Peterson.
Well, and then Wentz was a healthy scratch. So, I mean, no matter what, like so they get to pick 6th now instead of 9th if they had won.
Yeah, well, so. I'd rather be picking there than 20 like we're going to pick. or 30, like you think we're going to pick.
Yeah, there you go.
So the Chiefs and the Packers, they get the number 1 seed. They're going to be off this week, so good for them. They get to take a break and relax. But we do have some pretty spectacular games coming up. I think, and this is my opinion, the game to watch, and Saints Bears, don't get me wrong, is going to be, hopefully a good game. Bills and no, not Bills, Titans and Ravens. That is going to be, I think, the game of the weekend. You've got Derrick Henry, Tannehill, A.J. Brown up against Lamar Jackson, Hollywood Brown, and the running back team of J.K. Dobbins, Mark Ingram, and Gus Bus. I don't know who's going to win this one. I think the Titans are going to. I think right now they're a 3-point dog, which shocks me considering Derrick Henry is just going to run crazy. And by the way, Derrick Henry rushed for 2,000 yards this year and, is a man amongst boys right now. What's your, your game you're watching this weekend that you're like really intrigued by?
I mean, I agree. I think that Tennessee-Baltimore is intriguing. It's going to be, I think, like a 1930s NFL game. It's like, just all running on both sides. I don't know how much passing is really going to be done. I'm curious to see the Buffalo Indy game. I mean, we're really big Josh Allen fans, and Buffalo's kind of our quote unquote dark horse Super Bowl
Yeah.
team.
Mm-hmm.
Because I mean, even they went 13-3, and they're still completely under the radar somehow. And I just want to see what they do against that Indy defense.
Yeah, the Indy defense is going to. Well, it might put up a problem for him. We thought other teams were going to put up a problem for him. I mean, look what they did to the Dolphins with backups and first stringers, and I mean they dropped 56 points on them. So it would not surprise me if Buffalo takes a quick jump out lead and just completely demoralizes them, and then throws all the game onto Phillip Rivers' old arm that's going to be falling off his shoulder by the end of the game. Let's talk about some of the coaching vacancies now. We had Doug Marrone get let go, relieved of his duties in Jacksonville. We had Anthony Lynn get relieved of his duties in Los Angeles for the Chargers. Who else we have? We had who am I missing here? We know Matt Patricia obviously got let go. Matt Flynn got let go earlier in the year. I feel like there was another coach that got fired. Oh, Adam Gase, the Jets.
Right.
Okay, so what?
Dan Quinn and then Bill O'Brien.
Dan Quinn and Bill O'Brien. Yeah, Bill O'Brien. So we're going to have some vacancies out there, and we've got a lot of good coaches that are going to be, looking for jobs. Eric Bieniemy is getting a lot of looks. Robert Saleh from the 49ers, who, if the Bears let go of Matt Nagy, I would hope they pick him up. He is the most exciting coach to watch. They almost always have a camera on him when the defense is on the field because he gets so amped up when they play. And that's the kind of coach I want. I didn't like the coaches that are like, oh, yeah, we won the game. Great. Oh, yeah, good job, guys. I want a guy who's going to go up there like Denny Green and scream at the podium and smash it when he gets mad. Who are some of the guys you're looking at who could be going somewhere, Jimmy?
Yeah, I mean, Robert Saleh, I mean, we kind of talked about it off air. The Bears always, I don't know if it's just the Bears or other teams do it, they always seem to go in a certain order. They go defense, then offensive coach. I mean, it's been like that the last, 5 or 6 head coaches. Yeah. So if you follow that trend, it should be defensive coach, which that would be my pick as well. I think that's a moot point anyway. I don't think Nagy's going anywhere regardless of what happens. Yeah, I mean, you have like Joe Brady. He's like the wonder kid. He's the new Sean McVay. I think he's even younger. He was the co-offensive coordinator in LSU for Joe Burrow. He's the offensive coordinator now for Carolina Panthers. And basically, I mean, it's a little hard when you got Teddy B, but I mean, he's next on the track. I don't think he's going to be probably this year. I think maybe next year because he doesn't have any NFL experience. But that's somebody to look at. Like I said, Eric Bieniemy. Marvin Lewis is, I don't know if that's just a Rooney rule or what, because I'm like, who's really going to hire Marvin Lewis right now?
Well, probably the same people who hired like Mike McCarthy.
Well, were we right on that one? I tell you.
Oh boy, yeah, no kidding. Talk about a bad hire. What else we got here?
What about Anthony Lynn? Because that one, I thought that one kind of surprised me. I know they haven't been doing the best, but I mean, they had some good put out from Herbert, so I thought he was doing something there, and I just didn't really see. I mean, granted, I mean, I'm not plugged into the Chargers at all, but I just didn't see enough that I would have fired him. I would
Well,
have gave him like one more year, but
having Austin Eckler on my fantasy team all year and never getting rid of him because I'd hopes that he'd come back somewhat healthy, and he kind of came back at the end of the year there. But it's hard when you don't have much of a run game and you're relying on piecemealing whoever you have back there to run, and then you throw everything onto your rookie quarterback's shoulders. So again, I didn't agree with the firing. I mean, I watched Hard Knocks, and the guy seemed like he knew his stuff, and he was a good coach. Like, he seemed like the kind of coach you want to get behind and who wanted to get behind you. So that was a head scratcher, and I have a feeling he probably won't get a head coaching job. He'll probably be a coordinator next year. Maybe I don't know what Detroit's going to do. I could see him being because he was a defensive guy, wasn't he? Or was he offensive?
defensive, yeah.
So I could see him being like a D coordinator somewhere and maybe working his way back into a head coaching job. And that's always what seems to happen with these guys. If they get fired, they don't go jump right into another head coaching job because clearly they couldn't do it. So Matt Patricia's going back to New England. You watch. Then Bill Belichick's be like, "Oh, Matt Patricia's available. I'll take him back. He'll work for me again."
Maybe the Texans. They got the new GM for them is from New England too. So
yeah, it's
I
possible.
love getting the band back together.
Well, let's talk about some news, some interesting news today on the DeShaun Watson front. Apparently, he wants out of Houston. That's the rumor that he does not want to be in Houston anymore. He's not happy with the hire of the GM, which I don't know why it matters to him, but I guess it does. We had a kind of an off-air discussion because the Honey Badger, our new favorite GM in the NFL, said that if DeShaun Watson is on the market, the Bears, the Saints, and the 49ers better go calling. Now, I was on the radio today with Waddle and Sylvie, and I'm terrified to ever pump up our show because I feel like they'll cut me off right away. But I explained to them what I said to Jimmy off air was that if I'm Deshaun Watson and Ryan Pace is still the GM in Chicago, I'm doing everything I can to not go there because of what he did as far as the draft in 2017. He didn't even talk to him. They didn't bring him in for interviews. They basically act like he didn't exist. So if I'm Deshaun Watson, and unless they're throwing a boatload of money at me with, let's be honest, they're the Bears, are not going to do that. Chicago's not even an option. So, and where would you, if you're Deshaun Watson, Jimmy, where do you go in a perfect situation?
Well, he just signed that 4-year, 160 million contract, so I think that kind of puts him out of the Bears stratosphere anyway, because we know how they are.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think honestly, I think he's going to stay in Houston. I think it's just what I've read and heard is he was mad because the owner said, okay, well, I mean, you're obviously one of the faces of the franchise, J.J. Watt, who knows how much he has left. We value your input, and they hired Nick Caserio without even talking to him. Now, like you said, it's GM, so it's not like, hey, no, here's my uncle, hire this guy. But I think it's just a simple point of, if you're going to tell me my input is valued, and then you just go and hire this guy that you've been flirting with for 3 years that really hasn't done anything. I mean, New England's draft sucks. Like, if you go back and look at like their last 8 to 10 drafts, it's garbage. So I don't know why you would want to pick anybody that's on the personnel side from New England. For whatever reason, I know New England's good, but that's just what they're doing. But as far as where he goes, I mean, I don't know. I think Niners would probably be the best. They have some young weapons. They got George Kittle, which, I mean, who doesn't love an all-pro tight end? They got some O-line, the defense.
Yeah, young wide receivers.
Right, and then you got Kyle Shanahan, who I know, 3 years ago was the offensive wonderkid. Now he's second or third behind McVay and stuff like that. But I think that would probably be the best spot for him because Lord knows they need a quarterback. Jimmy G ain't it. So I don't know what he's going to do. Short of that, I mean, the Saints, the only way he would go to the Saints, Drew Brees has to retire and has to say, I'm retiring. As soon as we lose, I'm retired. And then you get Watson because there's no way he's going to go and sit and make $38 million on the bench. There's no way.
No. Well, and the Saints, I think, have a very, very, very big cap problem coming up with,
right.
with how much money they're going to have to, jettison to even possibly do a deal like that. I mean,
I don't know if it's them or not, but I thought they were like 80 million over the cap.
I think you're right. I think
which is pretty hard.
Yeah, I mean, it's either going to be start selling. They're going to have to either start selling pieces after this year or just start cutting pieces. It's one of the two because, I mean, you're not going to be able to afford to. I mean, Kamara just signed a new deal. Michael Thomas is on a relatively new deal. I don't know where the rest of their money's tied up. I mean, I haven't looked at their salary count or who's on the team right now for the highest salaries, but I mean, I know Michael Thomas, I know Alvin Kamara, and I know Drew Brees. I know those three players, and they're probably paying Taysom Hill a stupid amount of money to be a Tim Tebow 2.0. All right, well, let's talk a little bit about the Bears and how they fell backwards in the playoffs. Thanks to the extended playoff format, you believe that saved Matt Nagy's job. It put us in football hell again. And Matt Nagy also does not have a losing record. I will let the record show he's been 8-8 twice and 12-4. So he does not know what it feels like to fully lose a season yet, which is a good thing, I guess. But they got a lot of help from Arizona and Kyler Murray getting hurt and not being able to really play that game. And they had the pride of Naperville, Chris Streveler, in there, the bearded wonder from Canada. So where do you see the game on Sunday going against the Saints, Jimmy? I don't see it going real well, but I don't know what you think.
No, I did have it. That was going to be my spicy hot take, because I was going to take the Bears to win.
Ooh.
Not even just cover, but to win.
Ooh.
Because what else do they have to lose? But that being said, I think, I mean, we talked off airs. Darnell Mooney has been out of practice a couple of days. He's banged up. Roquan has that shoulder or whatever's going on there, which, I mean, as soon as he was out, I mean, not that the Packers weren't going to destroy us anyway, but as soon as he was out, then they just kind of picked across whatever they wanted to do.
Right.
There's still I haven't heard anything about Jalen Johnson or Buster Screen. So, I mean, if it's Vildor and Duke Shelley, it's not going to be good. I mean, Michael Thomas is supposed to be back. Kamara tweeted out that he's playing.
Oh boy.
So they're going to have their full weapons, and the Bears look like they're going to be down on defense, and that's the one place they can't be missing anybody. So, like, you have the bet of the Saints scoring the most points of the weekend. I think that's a pretty good bet. I don't see them doing anything against them.
So we'll get to our picks here right now. We'll start with the Bears. We'll skip over the other games. We'll go right to the Bears first. So the Bears currently, as of right now, are a 9.5-point dog. I am taking, and this is one of my picks. So, there's only 6 games this weekend, or what is it? Yeah, 6 games this weekend. We're picking 3 of them, and we're doing a sleeper. But my first pick right off the bat is New Orleans by minus 9.5 points. I'm taking New Orleans with the points. Again, like Jimmy said, I think this could very well be a 45-20 game or something like that, where Drew Brees and Alvin Kamara just go crazy on us, and we look stupid. But I'm hoping it doesn't happen. I just am a realist and think that is what's going to happen.
Yeah, I had Chicago plus 9.5, because, like I said, I was drinking the Kool-Aid a little bit, and then you seen everybody coming back. I was hoping Kamara wouldn't play because of COVID, but like I said, if the game was on Saturday, he probably wouldn't play. But it's on Sunday, so obviously, and Michael Thomas, and then all the injuries. So I'm actually gonna do the same as you. I'm gonna make my pick. New Orleans minus 9.5.
Oh, wow. Okay. So we're both picking New Orleans minus 9.5. So let's get to the other games. We've got Indianapolis versus Buffalo. Buffalo is currently a 6.5-point favorite. I'm going with Buffalo on that one, just straight up, not making my pick on them. But Buffalo, I think, is going to win that one pretty easily.
Yeah, that's my other pick, is Buffalo minus 6.5. I know Indy has a good defense, but Buffalo just seems to be humming. I mean, Stephon Diggs is an absolute monster.
All right, we've got the Rams against Seattle. Seattle's coming out as a 3.5-point favorite. I'm picking Seattle. I think they're going to win that game. This is also, side note, I picked them to score the lowest amount of points this weekend. So we'll see if I'm right or wrong on that one. But if they win, they win. But it could be if they win, they're going to beat the Rams by whatever they beat them by. So that wouldn't be the lowest. But it could go either way. But I'm picking Seattle to win that game.
Yeah, I mean, they almost got me. I almost made it my pick, because I love being wrong on Seattle. But yeah, the Seattle offense, the wheels have just fallen off completely. I mean, they rely too much on Russ, and even though they still haven't said if Jared Goff is playing or not, like, that Rams defense is ridiculous. I mean, Aaron Donald, you know what he's going to do, and he can still get 2 or 3 sacks as a defensive tackle, which is just absurd. He's probably Defensive Player of the Year again.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think Seattle may be able to squeak it out, just because it may be the backup for the Rams, but there's no way I'm taking the points.
And I will say this against the Cardinals this last weekend, the Rams cornerbacks were completely locked down, shut down. So in Seattle, I mean, don't get me wrong, DK Metcalf is a great receiver, and Tyler Lockett's a great receiver. But you got Jalen Ramsey and his crew back there, and they are not messing around. I mean, I can't tell you how many times I saw Jalen Ramsey put a hand in there and slap the ball away before the receiver even got his hands up. So the wide receivers to the Seattle Seahawks are gonna have a hard time this weekend, and I think Jalen Ramsey could put up some serious numbers against them as far as takeaways or pass breakups. All right, next we have Tampa Bay versus the Washington Football Team, and the line on this one is Tampa Bay minus 8.5. I'm taking Tampa Bay minus 8.5. I think that Tom Brady is gonna have a little bit of a bone to pick with Chase Young after what he said, and I think he's gonna throw about 4 touchdown passes.
Yeah, so I'm actually going to go the other way. I'm going to go Washington plus 8.5. I'm not sure. I don't think they win, but that Washington defense is nasty. I mean
Very
that
nasty.
pass rush. I think they're allowing like the second or third fewest yards, passing yards as well. So people are overlooking, that secondary. I mean, it helps when you have that pass rush. Um, and I mean, Brady ain't gonna be able to get away from Chase Young. So
Well, no, not with those knees. All right. Baltimore versus Tennessee. Baltimore's coming out as a -3 right now. I think Tennessee's gonna pull out the upset. I think Ryan Tannehill is gonna have a decent game, and I think Derrick Henry's gonna have a stupid game. So I'm picking Tennessee on that one. That's not one of my picks, but I'm just picking them to win.
yeah, I did have Baltimore, and the more I thought about it, I mean, Baltimore is exactly the team Tennessee wanted to see in the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
They can't stop the run, and like you said, Derrick Henry might go off for another 200 on them. So once again, I'm not taking the points. It's not my pick, but I think Tennessee wins.
Okay. And the last game of the weekend is Cleveland versus Pittsburgh. Now, Cleveland does not have a head coach this week because he has COVID. They also don't have their starting left guard because he has COVID, or at least he is close contact. And then they had 2 idiots drag racing yesterday morning or Tuesday morning on their day off. You're going to the playoff, guys. You haven't been there in 17 years, and you're going to drag race? Are you stupid? What if you wrecked your car? What if you got hurt? So I'm picking Cleveland plus the points, 5.5 points, because I think they could pose a problem with the Steelers, their defense, but I don't think they're going to win the game.
Yeah, I'm going to go Pittsburgh. I was debating same kind of thing, taking the points. I think, I mean, not having your all-pro left guard, that's going to hurt. Your head coach, he's basically the offense coordinator. He calls all the plays. And Cleveland did they barely beat Pittsburgh in Week 16, right?
24-22.
Right, and that was with Mason Rudolph. So I think once Big Ben is out there, yeah, he's going to drop it on him.
Okay. Our wild card sleeper. So here comes mine. Get ready for it. And every time I pick him in either this format or on fantasy football, he bends me over a barrel. But I'm going to go with Baker Mayfield, 300 yards passing and 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, same thing. Every time I pick this guy, he's a bum. I'm going to go Mitch, 250 yards and 2 touchdowns. I figure they're going to be behind probably quick, and they're just going to be slinging and trying to catch up.
And I hope he does sling it, and I hope he can throw the ball more than 15 yards at a time. I mean, he did have that real nice 53-yard pass to Darnell Mooney. I mean, that was a pretty throw and a good catch, but there's only like one of them every 6 games.
That's the best throw of his career.
Yeah, it pretty much is. I mean, it was. It absolutely was. I mean, Darnell Mooney caught it perfectly over his shoulder and kind of diving backwards a little bit to catch it. But still, I mean, it was pretty and it was awesome. I don't even know if they scored a touchdown, though, so it may have led to
No,
nothing.
I think it was like tackled at the 3.
Yeah.
I think it ended up being a field goal.
It probably did. No one
So
knows. All right, so now for our spicy hot take of the week. All right, so after the Bears lose, I'm sorry, guys, but I don't think they're going to win. Ryan Pace and Ted Phillips will be let go. I think they're going to start fresh at the top. Matt Nagy will keep his job for now, and get ready for it because Theo Epstein is coming back to town as the new GM and president of football operations. Boom, I said it. Hot, spicy take. Theo Epstein is going to the Bears.
I don't hate it. I mean, they got the pasta. He's a baseball guy for Cleveland. I think he's the GM or whatever title they gave him. Because you don't really have to know it. I guess you can look at analytics and all that stuff. So my super spicy hot take was going to be the Bears are going to win. I took some Tums, so that's not so spicy anymore. Yeah, so I'm going to do the same thing. Matt Nagy, he's coming back. I think after the blowout, after Pace was hired and said he was going to turn us into the Saints, he hasn't. So he's gone,
No.
and I think Thomas Dimitroff is going to be the new GM.
Ooh, all right, I like that. And I wish Louis Riddick would come to town. I really think he'd be an awesome GM because he knows his stuff about football. And I feel like he would be the one to tell George and everyone up top to say, back off and let me do my job. But then again, we all thought Ryan Pace was going to do that, and look what he did.
Right.
So, all right, well, Jimmy, if you don't have anything else, that's it for us this week. Y'all good?
Yeah, I'm good.
All right. Well, hey, everyone. We have our YouTube channel. Subscribe and like it down below. And then also find us on Facebook at BJ's Fantasy Corner, at Twitter at BJ's Fantasy Corner. Let's hope for a Bears victory this Sunday. They play at 3:40 down in New Orleans. But everyone else have a good night, and we'll see you next time on the corner. Go Bears.